Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Off camera, I went ahead and grinded to level 60. I don't even remember why I did that, but I did try and get as many materials as I need to make Ultimate Weapon. The only thing is, I forgot that there is a Final Mix, in the Cavern of Remembrance. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode or not. In the Cavern of Remembrance, there are some new synthesis materials. I couldn't remember what they were called there for a second, but there are some new materials that you need to make Ultimate Weapon that I don't want to get right now because I don't want to go in there without showing it on camera. I might end up getting them off camera and then synthesizing Ultimate Weapon and then going in there later on and showing you where I got them, because I will have to go through there eventually. But in this episode, what I want to go ahead and do, I already equipped To Become One, which as we all know has the Light and Dark ability, which means if we are in combat, might as well just go in here and show you. If we're in combat and we turn into any form, I usually just like to turn into Master Form for no real reason. We either turn into Anti-Form or Final Form, and what I'm trying to do right now is get Final Form. The only thing that you need to know here is that the Altar of Knot is a really great place to get this, and, Ruin and Creation's Passage, because if you come back in here, after you turn into Anti-Form in there, you will always get your Drive Form back, which makes this a very, easy thing to do. You just come in here, wait till the enemies spawn, turn into a form. If you turn into Anti-Form, you just leave, and then you rinse and repeat pretty much until you get Final Form. So I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but I will meet you guys back here when I have Final Form. That did not take long. I cannot believe, every time I do that, I feel like I did that in the first game a couple of times too. I feel like I need to speed something up or, cut it out or whatever, and then the very next time I go into whatever it was that I needed to do, it happens. But I have Final Form now. It has the Kingdom Key equipped because I couldn't put anything else on it before because I didn't have the form equipped, of course. I don't know what I want to put on it, but Final Form does have Glide. So now we can glide. Gliding is really good in this game. I feel like it's really, really fast once you get it leveled up to level 7, or once you get Final Form leveled up to level 7. We can't glide right now because we haven't leveled up Final Form at all. But what I want to do now, as you can see, or as you might know from before or remember or whatever, the forms are at level 6, except for Final Form, which is at level 1. Just to recap, I'm going to go ahead and get all these to level 7 right now off camera, which is going to take forever probably, but I want to do that now just to get it all over with, and so I can get all the growth abilities like, high jump and quick run and all that. I'm going to give you a little breakdown of where I'm going to be grinding for all these forms before I do it off camera. I'm not going to show it all on camera because, of course, it's going to take like an hour, 2, 3, I'm not exactly sure. Which means that the recording is going to be absolutely huge. But anyway, for Valor Form, as we all know, what it does is for every attack you deal to the enemy, you get 1 point of experience. What a lot of people do is put a really weak Keyblade on Sora, like the Sweet Memories Keyblade has 0 strength. That's probably a pretty good one to put on your, either on Sora or Valor Form. There's probably another one that's pretty good. I remember, like, the Wishing Lamp or something has, like, 2, yeah. Or the Gull Wing actually has 2 itself. So I would probably put Gull Wing on, the Valor Form, and then Sweet Memories on Sora, and that way your attacks will only do a little bit of damage. So you will do more damage, more hits per enemy, which means you will get more XP per enemy. And also, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and level up Valor Form here in the World That Never Was, down here in the Ruin and Creation's Passage or whatever, where I got the Final Form, because all the enemies here are really strong. I didn't change my Keyblades, but basically the gist of it is the same exact thing. You basically turn into the form, whatever you want to level up down here. Of course, I would turn into Final Form because I forgot I still had the Light and Dark, or the To Become One Keyblade on. But you run in there, you get your hits in or whatever, come back in here, and your drive bar will be refilled. That's probably going to be the way I level up Valor Form. I'm, of course, going to level up Final Form like that, because Final Form levels up when you defeat a nobody. For each nobody you defeat, you get 1 XP. But for Master Form, I'm actually going to go back to the Beast's Castle and run from the Beast's room back to the parlor, because there's a lot of enemies in that path that drop drive balls, so that's a really good thing. And also those, if you might remember, those like suits of armor drop drive balls as well. So I'm probably going to do that there. Like I said, Final Form is going to be here in the World That Never Was. Limit Form is also going to be here in the World That Never Was. Wisdom Form, I might just show you this on camera as well, because it's kind of hard to explain. But back in the Timeless River, there was a place in Mickey's house where a bunch of shadows and soldiers spawn, which is where I'm going to level that up. But also I'm going to level up Final Form or Valor Form in the World That Never Was. All that rambling aside, let me go ahead and get all of the forms up to level 7, because like I said, the growth abilities that will come from that, and also just the XP from leveling up Sora, because we're level 60 right now, which is kind of low for the end of the game, all of that will make the end of the game a whole lot easier. Alright guys, I've grinded a lot off camera. I don't even remember what I was talking about before, but I did get Sora up to level 68. I got Valor Form up to 7, Wisdom to 7, Limit to 7, Master to 7, and Final to 7. I still have not worried about the summons. I'll probably do that off camera at some point, because summons to me are just entirely useless, but I will show the summon animations and all of that on camera at some point. It'll probably be in a bonus episode, but from grinding all of those forms up to 7, we have High Jump, which is much higher than it was before. We have a Quick Run that goes a lot farther. It goes across the entirety of the Altar of Naught up here. What else do we have? We have Glide, which of course is up to level 3, I think is what it is. Let me go ahead and check that really quick. That would be a Final Form, Glide Max. Well, actually, that's not ours, that is Final Forms. Let's go ahead and see what Sora's level is here. Glide level 3, that's what I thought. As far as I know, you cannot get any higher than that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that you just can't. But, yeah, the Glide is really good, and I feel like there's one more. Oh, yeah, Dodge Roll. I never really used Dodge Roll too much, except for that Roxas fight. It was pretty useful. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave the world that never was, because we have grinded everything that we need to grind at this point. Any more grinding at this point would just kind of be, overkill. I forgot to record. I kind of stopped recording after I recorded that first part, because, like I said, it was going to be entirely too much footage to even record and keep on my hard drive, so I'm sorry that I didn't show. I remember I said something like I'm gonna show the Wisdom Form grinding spot. I think I might just make a dedicated episode later on to show you where to grind all your forms and stuff like that. But anyway, I want to go ahead and fight the Absent Silhouette here, the first Absent Silhouette that we ever saw. For some reason, the first time we saw it, even if we clicked on it looks dangerous, let's look, it wouldn't activate. But after we talked to Demix, somewhere here in the Olympus Coliseum, it activated. So we're going to go ahead and investigate this Absent Silhouette. And the first Absent Silhouette is going to be Zexion. I'm probably going to slip up at some point and say Zexion, but this is clearly not a Pokemon. One technique that I found works really well against all of the organization members and the Absent Silhouettes, because I have practiced this, you're probably not going to run into these fights and just dominate unless you have done a little bit of practice. But I found that if you do a combo, since I do have the Finishing Plus, or the combo, basically I can do more than one combo finisher at a time, I found it easier if you just do one. And hopefully I don't die here so easily, but before I get into that, what you have to do when he goes into his book form is do a combo finisher on him, and then you can dispel him, and then he will go back to the regular area, and you can continue to attack him. But right here is what I was going to explain. If you just do one combo finisher, and I didn't mean to get him up in the air, but you can usually do 2 combos with one combo finisher before he goes back into the book form. Whereas if you do 2 combo finishers in the first combo, usually he'll just go, so you do more damage if you just do 2 combos, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But here we have the blue circle minigame almost, where if you don't get into the blue circle, you will take a lot of damage. Luckily, I was able to get into the blue circle. If you don't, you have to basically suffer like a meteor shower of attacks. Hopefully, hopefully I can take him out here without having to go through this again. As far as I know, you can't actually dodge and apparently we're going to be doing the blue circle game again, so you'll get to see it again. Before I talk about the dodging thing, it helps if you line yourself up with a circle, and it just so happened to be the one that I thought it was going to be, and then quick run into it, because you can't quick run out the other side, so it works out. But as far as I know, when he throws his little book powers at you, and we defeated him without too much of a problem, and we got an item slot, you can't dodge going into the book, so you're going to have to eventually, but that wasn't that hard. And for defeating Zexion, we get the Book of Shadows, which is a new recipe, and the Lost Illusion, which is a new material. But I'm going to go ahead and speed up the run to the next Absent Silhouette. Now, you might remember this one in La Isla de Muerta in Port Royal. This one is going to be, I believe, the organization, what it said in the I forgot what that room is called in The World Never Was, but this is going to be the Savage Nymph. Now, as far as I know, this fight always starts off with that sort of attack right there, so if you just guard, you're going to be okay. Larxene is a really cheap fight, I feel like. It is possible to do it, of course, without getting hit. It's probably possible to do all of these without getting hit, but for some reason, I feel like the Absent Silhouette fights are a little bit cheap in some ways, and especially when we get to Lexaeus, you will see how cheap they can be. But I'm going to be cheap right back and use Final Form and Reflect. Reflect is going to be probably your best friend when you're doing these Absent Silhouette fights. Final Form is probably going to be an asset as well, but it's not as important as using Reflect, because when you're in the Reflect thing, you don't really take any damage, and this is probably her most devastating attack right here. I'm going to go ahead and use a potion so I don't die. Luckily, I didn't even mean to block that. Or, wait a minute, I did mean to block that. Wink, wink. But that did a lot more damage than I thought right there, too, so we're probably going to be able to finish her off. And that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more cheap, like I was saying how cheap it was, and then I beat her without too much of a problem. But there, I think we got a maximum MP increase, which I think I might have said back when we fought Xemnas, that was the last MP increase, but I think they might have changed up the rewards in Final Mix as far as when you get them. But for defeating Larxene, we get the Secret Thunder recipe and yet another Lost Illusion. I will see you guys once again at the next Absent Silhouette. Now, in my experience, this Absent Silhouette right here, I'm going to go ahead and equip on Sora, or in the customize menu, put on fire, I guess, on the triangle button, doesn't really matter. In my experience, this is the absolute easiest Absent Silhouette in the game, especially if you have Firaga. Now, in theory, there's a lot to this fight. It always starts off with a get rid of the ice thing, but really all you gotta do is take out Vexen's shield. Luckily, you actually can't damage it, unlike in Reach Into Memories, how it just, your attacks would ding off of it all the time. That little circle on the ground is Vexen scanning us, and when the data thing in the top left goes all the way up, an Anti-Form Sora comes out to attack us, which is, basically every time that number on the top left gets higher, every time the bar fills up again, the Anti-Form Sora that he spawns gets a lot stronger. But if we can get him in a Firaga combo, you can see exactly how fast his HP goes down, and I think he just created an Silhouette, a Dark Form Sora thing over there. Like I said before, that kind of reminds me of Dark Link a little bit, but if we can just finish off Vexen, I don't think we're going to have to worry about the Anti-Form, and we did not, that was what, like 20 seconds or something like that. But for defeating Vexen, we get another armor slot, which I will be sure to use. Hopefully I don't forget. And Vexen gives us a guide to experimentation and yet another Lost Illusion. Once again, I will see you guys at the next Absent Silhouette. You know, I think this one actually was supposed to come before Vexen, but you know, it doesn't really matter what order you do them in. Let's go ahead and fight Lexaeus, the cheapest of the cheap. Now, the reason I say Lexaeus is cheap is, of course, you can see up there, he's way stronger than us. That's actually not really why he's cheap, but you might have seen me spam. This is the attack right here. That rock attack drives me crazy because you cannot stop it when you're in the air unless you glide away, and sometimes you can't even glide away. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be cheap, go into final form. If he starts to use those attacks again, which I have no doubt in my mind that he will do, I will just use Reflect. Like I said, Reflect is going to be your best friend in these Absent Silhouette fights, and Lexaeus will power up like that. Hopefully I can get the reaction command. I think it's called Mega Impact. If you can get the reaction command Mega Impact, then his power level will go down, I believe, and that aura that's around him will go away as well. I think if that aura is around him, you can't actually get him into a combo, and I think if he has 1 HP, and this is kind of like his little limit break attack right here, it's pretty easy to dodge if you just glide away. I'm pretty sure if that aura is around Lexaeus, you can't beat him, because and here's the Mega Impact reaction command, so luckily I got that out of the way, so I'll probably be able to finish him off right here, and I did, and for that I get an accessory slot, but once again, if the aura is around him, you can't finish him off, as far as I know, but we didn't have that problem right there. And unsurprisingly, we get the Exceeding Power recipe from Lexaeus, and unsurprisingly, a Lost Illusion synthesis material. I will see you guys at the last Absent Silhouette. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I ever even showed you guys that this was here, but what I want to do is go ahead and equip the Decisive Pumpkin Keyblade, and I think I might have had some... Oh yeah, I did get some extra item slots and stuff from the previous Absent Silhouettes. Might as well go ahead and equip the Power Band, and down here, might as well go ahead and equip the Moon Amulet. That's a really strong thing to equip, and while we're in the menus, might as well go ahead and equip some extra items, even though they're probably not going to be that necessary in the fight coming up. This over here, I'm not sure when this appeared. It was probably after the Zaldin fight, but this is the last Absent Silhouette. Immediately in this fight, you want to guard because Marluxia will attack you, but you might notice that there is a number on top of our head. I didn't mean to get him into an aerial combo. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably going to knock me around. Luckily, I do feel like this is the most fair of all of the Absent Silhouette fights, but you might have noticed that spinning attack that he just did right there. If you guard it one time, usually you will get the air counter reaction command, which does a lot of damage. If you block it twice, hopefully I can do it again so I can show you what I mean, you will get the blade count, this right here. If you just guard it one time, you will get the air counter, and if you guard it twice, you will get the blade count, which allows that number on top of your head to go back up. It is at 68 right now. I believe it starts off at whatever your level is, but if that goes all the way down, and it only goes down when he does damage to you, I believe, if it goes all the way down to 0, you lose the fight. So you have to worry about your HP, and you have to worry about the number up there. It kind of reminds me of the Titan Cup a little bit, and I found that when he puts all these circles on the ground, that if you can knock him up into the air or use Reflect a lot, you will be able to do some damage to him, because if you touch the circles on the ground, I should probably explain this or it wouldn't really make much sense. Those circles on the ground that he just made appear right there will do damage to you. Actually, they don't just do damage to you. If you touch them, they make you go all the way down to 1 HP. I found that basically, once he spawns those circles, he will go to the middle of the stage, and from there, he will do either that attack that he just did right there, or an attack where he kind of lunges at you. I found that if you reflect while those circles on the ground, while those circles are on the ground, you will do a lot of damage and be able to get him into a combo here. And by the way, once you do a combo like that and he disappears, he will always go away somewhere and then swoop in, and that is an attack that you will have to guard against. If you don't, he will knock you up into the air like he did to me at the beginning of the fight. But that right there is exactly a perfect execution of what I was talking about as far as Reflect and getting Marluxia up into the air. And if you just aerial dodge at the right time when you get knocked up into the air like that, you will be able to get out of that combo, which is why I said I feel like this fight is one of the most fair Absent Silhouettes in the game. But anyway, this is like the third phase of the fight, which is fairly easy to dodge, except for there's going to be an attack that happens. That attack right there, I was going to say I'm probably not going to be able to dodge that. That attack seems to be undodgeable. Like, even if you glide at the maximum speed, which of course I was doing because I have the level 7 final form, I'm not even sure how you're supposed to dodge that, unless maybe you can aerial dodge at a perfect moment, kind of like I did a little bit earlier with a different attack that he did. But otherwise, I'm not even sure how you're supposed to dodge that. Luckily, I do have 60 attacks left, so unless something goes majorly wrong, I feel like we're going to be able to finish this fight, even if I get hit probably by like all of the attacks in this combo. And unfortunately, I was unable to dodge that. I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to dodge that. I think maybe if he does that again, maybe I can kill him before he gets back into that little, you know, dark thing where he glides around, or I have to glide around anyway. Maybe if I actually turn into final form itself, I will be able to dodge it, but maybe I won't have to. Unfortunately, I got him into an aerial combo here, so he's just going to disappear. I found that is a common theme in all of the absent silhouette fights. If you get it into an aerial combo, that is a bad thing. But I'm going to go ahead and turn into final form here. Maybe I am very dangerously close to dying right here. Hopefully I dodge that attack or I might die. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, one more combo here or something should be enough to take out Marluxia. I could have sworn I was going to die right there. If that had died right there, that would have been terrible. But hopefully this is unfortunately that's a blade count. I don't know why it wasn't an air counter, because I only guarded the attack once. Maybe it's not like a sure thing. What is a sure thing, though, is one more combo is going to be enough to take out Marluxia, and we get a drive gauge power-up for defeating him, which was not in the original version of Kingdom Hearts 2, of course. So now we can go to a maximum of 8 instead of 7. Now, for defeating Marluxia, we get the Dummy 21, which I have a feeling is a mistranslation or something, and we get a Lost Illusion synthesis material again. There are some more Lost Illusions that you can get in the Cavern of Remembrance, and you actually do have to have that to synthesize Ultima Weapon, or else you won't be able to get the last Orichalcum Plus. But that was the last absent silhouette in the game. We will have to fight all of the Organization 13 members again, probably in a much later episode, relatively much later. It's going to be probably 5 or 6 episodes from now. But that is all I wanted to do in this episode, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and I hope to see you guys back for the next episode.